society has come to an end, and you can see it practically anywhere. If you live in the countryside, maybe you don't see it this obvious because you're just used to being around nature in the country. If you live in the city, things changed dramatically. I lived in Berlin for over 11 years. I've seen it firsthand. It used to be a very vibrant, interesting, alive city with a lot of creative people, artists, international uh, community of really uh, uh, a complete mix of everything, but in a good way. And it was creative, it was peaceful, it was fun. It was an exchange of ideas. It was based on individuality, individuals coming together. Um, and that's gone. It's empty. I cleared out the apartment. That's empty too. Um, it's over, you know. And it's not just Berlin failed. It's practically any big city, really. If you look at it honestly, I mean, London is a shithole. New York City is a shithole. Paris finished. That's a shithole. Berlin, that's an empty shithole. Um, uh, I mean, the list probably goes on and on. So practically all the big capital cities of Western civilization are shitholes. Oh, the biggest shithole, LA. Um, I mean, and it's beyond repair. Uh, it's basically a toilet that is impossible to flush because it's just too much shit in the toilet. You can't flush it anymore, right? Why? I just made up that metaphor. I love it. Um, but it's kind of true, and it's not just uh, what happened to the city. Is what happened to the people. What happened to society? You see, you think, oh, I'm just complaining out, oh, it's boring and full of migrants and full of danger and full of violence, and the rents are so high you can't, afford to live anywhere. And even if you could, well, just never gonna get an apartment because there are no apartments. That's all true. But that's not my point. That really hurts, you see? Because what really hurts is it just shows you that this whole idea of a civilization, of a Western educated, cultural civilization has come to an end. It's more than you realize, it's more that you are willing to admit, um, because you're still holding on to that dream, right? And that dream is gone and buried. Yeah, it's dead. And that just means it's zombie apocalypse, survival mode, right? Like, if you can afford to leave the city, you already left. And I'm not just talking about me personally. If you think I'm the only one that feels that way, that's ridiculous. Everybody with a little bit of money and education has left the city, eh, or the country even. Um, um, and you don't understand what that means. It means this: we are coming together as a human race in a peaceful, creative exchange. That's over. These days are over. You think I'm moving back to the city? You think I'm going back to fucking Berlin? Are you kidding me? You think I'm gonna move to London or Manhattan or Paris or LA? Fuck that. Never. Before I do that, I move to the graveyard. You think I'm gonna leave this? Give me a break. So even if you don't agree with me, that doesn't change the facts. It doesn't. And um you know, I see the bigger picture and you don't. I remember 2000, the year 2000 was so exciting. It was so special. Ah, there was so much expectation about the future. The internet was coming. We were promised like the future, and nobody really knew what was going to happen. It was exciting. It was peak in every aspect, in technology, in music, in art, in culture. I can prove that. Anybody can prove that with a little bit of research. And then what happened? Well, I don't know. Nothing happened. And then September 2001 happened. And after September 11, this world was taken away. Just like that. Like a magic trick. And it was a magic trick. It was the biggest magic trick in history. And then this entire promise, this positive excitement about the future, about a world that was possible, was just taken away, it was gone. It exploded and imploded at the same time. It just disappeared. And it never came back. And I can prove that. It never came back in the music. You know, you had a lot of strong music maybe until 2003, but that's about it. And then it turned to shit until now. Decline everywhere, culture, migration, technology. It's just garbage. Now you have the biggest cities in Western society. There's such big shitholes, you can't even flush them. So the shit is just gonna pile up. Well, congratulations to everyone. Now you have the president turning 80, congratulations, and the United States turning 250. That's how old my house is. You see, that's from another, like centuries. And look at where we now. Look at where we now. Our ancestors would turn in their graves. They would shit their pants if they would had any pants. If they would had any pants left. It is a disgrace. It is a disaster. It is beyond embarrassing. But this is what you wanted. This is what you voted for, right? This is what you kept voting for. Even voting is bullshit. But still, this is what you complied with. This is what you agreed on. This was the social consensus in Western society for decades, for 70, 80 years. Look what you got. It's zombie apocalypse. That's what it is. And if you got eyes, you can see it. You know, we can talk all night and all day, and you can get the news and this and that, and the Strait of Hormuz and blah blah blah, and it never ends. And it's politics all day, every day. And it's never gonna change. And then you vote in the next guy and believe he's gonna fix it, and he can't. And this is going on for decades and decades and decades and decades, and it's still gonna go on forever, probably, you know. But if you got eyes, you can see it. There's no discussion needed. I don't need the news. I don't need to go on YouTube and check what's up. I know what's up. I know better what's up than all of you combined. I know what's up since 26 years because you don't see the picture, the bigger picture, but I do. And it's obvious if you look, but you don't want to look. You don't want to pay attention. You don't want to think. You don't want to see the pattern, and the pattern is obvious. You don't want to do your homework, and you refuse to do it. You don't know who you are, so you're making all the wrong assumptions. Everything you're thinking is based on is wrong because you don't know who you are. Know yourself. Yeah, but you don't. That's the problem. Your problem, not mine. And that's not a civilization. I need to break it to you. This is not what a civilization is about. A civilization is not a zombie apocalypse. You see? But you can't even tell the difference. You can't even tell right from wrong. You don't even know what right and wrong is anymore. That's like you don't even know what left or right is anymore. You don't know what green or red is anymore. And this is why you don't know the difference between a civilization and a zombie apocalypse. You can't tell. And yeah, that just proves my point. We come in full circle here. This is exactly the reason and the explanation why society is over. Western society is over. And so, what are the smart people doing then? Well, they're living in the fucking country, surviving the apocalypse, while the zombies are running the cities. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. This is exactly what's happening. And it's just surprising to me how the people who get it, then they say, well, the people who don't know anything about anything, they're having a better life. What do you mean they're having a better life? Just because they're ignorant doesn't make their life better. They don't even understand the danger they're surrounded. You know, if their jobs are gone, if the industries are gone, if the company's insolvent, and they don't have any income, they're finished. What do you mean? Like, this is exactly the problem. All of these people are the problem. They're not the solution. If everybody knew what was really happening right now, we would be solving this crisis in a day. It's a consciousness problem. It's an awareness problem. It's a moral, ethical problem. People don't have moral, ethical standards. People don't have moral, ethical principles. People don't know how to think, and they're not learning it. People don't have enough culture, enough understanding about history. The list goes fucking on and on and on and on. And then they get tipped off. They 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 get they get they get triggered. They can't handle um, profanity. That's ridiculous. These are exactly the people that I'm talking about. They failed the test of life and then complain about profanity. Oh, I don't like your language. Well, I don't like your ignorance. You see? The language is not the problem. The 80 more higher than 80% NPC sheeples, brain dead NPC sheeples are the problem. And you've been spoiled by living in a consumer society. It used to be enough to have a job, earn some money, and then spend it all on consumer bullshit, materialistic nonsense, because the television said so and your neighbor consumes it too, right? The jealousy, the greed, the ah, I need to one up too, right? I need to upgrade if my neighbor upgrades, even though I can't afford it. I need the new car too. My neighbor has it, the new model. He's gonna make me look bad if I don't drive the new model. Yes, even though you can't afford it, you still get it. You still get that new Mercedes. This used to be the culture. I know it personally firsthand. This is where I grew up in. This is the culture I grew up in. Nobody knows this shit better than me. But it's nonsense. You didn't use the potential that you had. You had a high standard of living. You had access to education, information, culture, philosophy, ideas. You had the time to build up a personality, grow a personality with moral, ethical principles, but you didn't. You're a bunch of liar hypocrites. You lie every time you open your mouth. You lie to everybody else and you lie to yourself. And you don't even see that that's a problem. You see, that's the disaster I'm talking about. And driving the newest model Mercedes is not gonna fix that. If you don't understand this crystal clear language, you will never understand. a mini man grow that trying.